Going live-ish, I think.
Live-ish.
Live-ish. I need to turn my light on.
I'm only partially alive.
Only partially live here on Podcast Day at Sorgatron Media. Ready to do it. Ready to have some fun. We're going to get into this. Just a heads up, we're going to try to cut about 10 or 15 minutes before 8 because we have something that we're going to record that we actually can't broadcast yet I was making sure the one thing wasn't showing. That would give it away. But yeah, so just a heads up, we are going to cut the live stream a little bit early. And yeah. Mr. Chilla, are you ready to podcast?
I am ready to rock.
Are you ready to podcast?
You sound like the guy at
what?
Hard Rock.
At Hard Rock?
He does the interpretation of the "Are you ready to rumble?"
Are you ready?
But I think he does actually. Are you ready to rock? I think
everybody in the chat room and the hundreds around the world that download this podcast. Yeah, I think I want to start starting the show that way from now on, just to get us hyped.
What are you hyped about today?
You ain't hype.
What was that? Ah, okay. It sounded like something hit off the wall. I thought you were throwing things over here.
Why does Rehab only have the shitty flavors now? They got rid of all the good ones. Like, really? All I can get is peach tea? Like, they used to have, like, green tea and red tea and
red tea
lemonade. Yeah, you can't get those. They're like, yeah, we got peach and raspberry, guys. It's like, what?
What's wrong with raspberry? I like raspberry.
Yeah, but it's not green tea. Like, it was delicious. Yum. Speaking of things that blow up, I haven't returned from my Go-Gurt yet. I keep forgetting to. It's not that it's been on or worn or anything like that. All right, this is 316. DTA, don't trust Android. All right, I need to work that in there for the wrestling fans that listen.
They're going to be really upset with you.
Why?
Don't trust Android?
I had to come up with an A real quick. So I want to try to work in as many Stone Cold Steve Austin references. So if something you don't catch, just don't worry about it. Just go with it, especially if I pause and look at the camera. All right. I really want to use that title, too, so I'm probably going to use it in the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Awesomecast. It's time to get geeky, get techie. Awesomecast 316, a DTA, don't trust Android. And we're going to get right into it. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitters here in the Mayhem Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. So many great techie things happening in the Pittsburgh area. I can't wait to tell you about some of them. But with me, back in the studio, it is John Chichilla.
It is so good to be back. As the weather gets cooler, it gets cooler in the studio.
Yes, there is no separation between the weather outside and the weather inside. That's how we keep it real hot in the summertime. But anyways, like I said, this is the Awesomecast. You can check us out, awesomecast.net, where you can subscribe to the show. You can find us on your iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or over on video versions on YouTube. And, of course, over on Facebook, we are posting the videos up over there as well. And live at live.sorgatronmedia.com via YouTube Live. So please check us out there and join us here Tuesdays at live.sorgatronmedia.com. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we do the stream. We have a chat room. Our buddies Crazy Kraus and Wheels are in the chat room. I'm sorry you have to use your shoot name, Wheels. It's the YouTube policy. But anyways, but still a really great way for you guys to join us and become part of the show. Tell us your awesome thing of the week while you're in there. Respond to things. I swear I'll attempt to pay as much attention in there. Chilla has his own monitor with the chat room as well. So we can both keep an eye on what's going on out there. So please distract us with your corrections and everything as we go, and we'll bring them into the show. You can also support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/awesomecast. Thank you to our wonderful executive producer on there right now at the $5 level, Mike Fedor of the Mike Fedor Show, at Mike Fedor Show on the Twitter. Go check him out. Thank him for being a part of the Awesomecast and helping us bring it to you over this period here and helping grow the show. You can become a part of it, become our boss, become part of the Awesome Army and help the Awesomecast grow. And we'll be growing that here. We got some awesome interviews coming up, including the Awesome Chat this week coming up at awesomecast.net. And that's because people like this and show that they want these things to happen. That we're going back and bringing back the Awesome Chat in an interesting, different way. Hopefully, we'll see how long we can keep it up as far as that goes. Also, thanks to RiversEdgePGH.com, our friends that support the show by showing the show or listening to the show or showing the audio waves of the show. RiversEdgePGH.com. We're aired on there 8 a.m. Thursday mornings after Funny Money, and we will also be a part of the upcoming pod crawl in Millvale, PA, coming up on September 30th, which I'm sure, no coincidence, is also International Podcast Day. So a lot of fun stuff going on there. Go to RiversEdgePGH.com. Look up the Rivers Edge over on Facebook, and we have it linked as well. We've been sharing it. We'll be down at Smokey's Tavern down in Millvale at 9:45 p.m. that night. A lot of great stuff. The Mike Sasson Show, Drinking Partners. One of the Drinking Partners joined us on a panel over at PodCamp that you can check out, PodCamp Pittsburgh's YouTube page. River Talk, Bold Pittsburgh, and Jagoff all we're sharing the bills with that night all across Millvale. We're going to be podcasting is taking over a town quite literally that night. I'm looking forward to that. Should there be drinking on the Awesome Cast? I don't know. I don't know if a
should be.
Awesome Drunk Cast should be a thing. But you should say
we won't get drunk. We will just drink.
We will just drink. But
in mass quantity.
In mass quantities. But anyways, let's get into it with our awesome things of the week. I didn't check. Is yours a non-Apple thing?
Mine is a non-Apple thing, and mine's probably going to be a little short.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with Chillis.
Let's run with this. So if I can request that you bring up the link, and for those at home, there's a video in the lower left. We could talk about the device itself real quick. So as we're probably going to discuss here momentarily, iOS 10 is launched. When that comes, you get a massive amount of updates. One of the things I noticed is VMware updated their Horizon client. It said, now with support for the SwiftPoint GT wireless mouse. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is my iPad, and it has support for a mouse. I've seen other companies do this with very specific devices, or they actually create a second app for the phone that turns the phone into a trackpad. All very cool tech. This is a small mobile mouse with truly natural touch gestures. So I was pretty impressed with the way they executed this. If you're used to kind of touching and swiping across a touchscreen, and you have a Windows device and you don't want to have to switch from mouse to screen to mouse, you don't want smudges, they kind of have a way that you actually take the mouse and tilt it on its side, and I think it has some different click options that allow you to then take this device and kind of mimic or turn it into kind of a touch response on the device. Some of the other features, it talks about it being more ergonomic. It looks extremely small. Instead of the grasping something a little bigger, like a full-size mouse, it's really only meant for kind of you to grab it with 3 fingers, almost like a little claw.
I like how the one example actually shows it next to, like, this is how you hold a pencil, this is how you hold this, and how it kind of really kind of relates.
Yeah, and I was impressed. It comes with, out of the box, full support for all the Windows 8 and 10 touch panning, flicking, zoom, back in the day, the charms menu, application switching. It's rechargeable via Bluetooth, and it's Bluetooth 4. And there's also a USB receiver. This is something I've been seeing happening more and more with a lot of different mice, which surprises me because you would think more devices would be picking up Bluetooth. A lot of companies may block Bluetooth on the device, or you may not have the appropriate drivers. So this kind of gets around it with the dongle. I see this on a lot of Logitech devices. The Logitech device I reviewed a couple weeks back has both Bluetooth and dongle support. I like the fact that it's rechargeable. I don't have to worry about carrying extra batteries with me. It does offer some configuration with different what you can do with the button. Again, what I found interesting is at least VMware is starting to pick up and support this in their app on iOS. So kind of taking it beyond, and it also it doesn't say it on the Amazon site, but it definitely works. Oh, it does say it there on Android. Here's where I have the problem. It's extremely expensive at $150. So that's where I haven't purchased the device. The thing that I really liked about it, and if you get a chance and you watch the actual video for the SwiftPoint GT wireless ergonomic mouse, you can use it, from what I can tell, effectively on the bottom, like right hand. Well, I'm right-handed, so I would use it on the bottom right-hand corner, but on like the bottom corner of your laptop. So it doesn't require a whole lot of space from the way they're showing it used, whether you want to use it kind of as your generalized mouse and you want to kind of tilt it to use the touchscreen type features. So I think this would be great for planes. It would be great on trains, in a coffee shop if you can't really spread out on a large table. But the hard thing I'm having, or the hard problem I'm having, is wrapping my head around $149. You can get it in 2 days, but it seems like it's pretty heavily priced at that price point. It does have a 4 out of 5 star review, which is good. But again, I don't know. You're kind of on the go, always working. Is this something of interest to you, or nope?
Nope.
Like,
nope.
no way.
Because I live for the touchpad.
Okay.
I am like sometimes the laptop, because the laptop right now is the workhorse for things. So like if something needs rendered or something, that's the thing that gets left behind, and then I have to go grab the Asus laptop, right? And always I'm just
trackpad.
Trackpad is just devastating compared to this. Now that might be nice for something like that when I need that replacement kind of situation, but I don't know. It's this doesn't really fit for me, but I can definitely see the appeal of it. My wife actually always has a wireless mouse with her laptop, partially again because of junk trackpad that comes with the Windows 10 laptop, right? The ones we've had, of course. But it's this seems like the right kind of thing. I don't know, me with my big mitts, if that's going to work too well.
Can you hold a pencil?
I can hold I don't do it as often as I used to, but I can hold a pencil. Yeah, I guess. So, but no, I think I can certainly see in certain travelers' situations where this could work out pretty well.
I'd like to see how it would work because the one part that I'm not big on the trackpad for is like your Photoshop or fine line, trying to select into a photo. That's where I could definitely see kind of that mouse aspect. But I don't know. I would be interested to try it out. I'm just not interested in spending $150 to try it out.
That's an expensive experiment right there.
Yeah.
Certainly. My awesome thing of the week is, of course, iOS 10. You guys gave me the hot tip last week about the public beta, and that they had the final version, which is, as we write this, I'm starting to get the digital. What the heck do they call it? Because it comes up as a certain thing on my Pebble Watch or somewhere else. The digital touch message from iMessage is popping up. So I can tell all my friends who are getting it and playing with the new iMessage. But it's pretty fantastic. But so everything we've been talking about, the 3D touch with notifications is it's a big deal. It really is a big deal. It really does change the way that you deal with messages. The fact that you can 3D touch on that message and interact with that message without going anywhere has sped up my reaction time and my willing to respond to a message, actually. The biggest pain in the butt was always, all right, that's a Hangout. Okay, that's a Facebook message. I guess I'm going to have to go in the app and deal with this. I'll do it later, right? So then those things bunch up until I sit down at a computer or I'm in Facebook and say, okay, yeah, I'll respond to these, which that doesn't work for messaging, right? So I'm enjoying that bit of it. I still wish, and I figured some of the apps like Facebook and Twitter may have more responsiveness as things it becomes released and they roll out their implementations.
It took a while for them to pick up on live photos in Facebook.
Right.
And I'm not trying to play the fence of iOS or Android here, but the same thing was true for 360-degree photos. There's a lot of things that they definitely take their time and make sure they do it right. I think we'll see those definitely over time. On your iMessages comment, have you played around with a lot of the stickers?
I didn't get too crazy with it because I knew not a lot of people would have them, and I wondered how they looked, which apparently they just look like that you're sending them an image. Like the digital touch things, which if you don't... Okay, so basically when you get to the bottom of your iMessages, you have, there's a kind of a smaller messaging window. You have a camera button. You have what looks like a heart and two fingers, and then you have like an App Store icon. The heart and two fingers is like a kind of touch situation where you can draw something and send it, and then that shows up as an animation on the other side, or it just shows up as an image if they don't have iOS 10. So like that's still, because again, I was sending it to my wife and saying, what are you receiving over there? App wise, I haven't the GIFs. Everybody's doing GIFs. Like there's no question not to do GIFs now, because now there's GIF installation in there. Giphy is a part of it. It looks like it just got updated with access for it. I thought it was interesting. So I added classic Mac, and then there's like some recent stuff. I accidentally turned my phone sideways today when I was walking, and the handwriting option popped up. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I'm walking down the street, and I'm like, stop, look at this. But yeah, it's been pretty cool, and again, it really kind of I like seeing that this is something that you can send to your Android friends. Like they'll receive something, right?
Yeah, they will definitely receive something.
It's not going to look as flashy as it is for us. I haven't seen anything where like the entire screen like rains confetti like we saw in the previews or anything like that. But iMessage is definitely stepped up in this, and now it's like, well, I don't really want to go to Facebook Message anymore because this is the fun stuff, and the people that I do the fun stuff with on messaging are all on the Apple platform for the most part. So that works out really well for that.
So the one thing I was wondering was, you're supposed to be able to like apply a sticker to like a prior message.
Really?
Yeah, and I saw it. So where I saw it was, that was me.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah. So where I saw it was, you could like put them.
I got a text from a random phone number, and apparently,
see how it put the question mark up there on your message?
Okay, so for those that see, your phone number is on here. I guess a little bit. But no, yeah, you added a yes, who's this, and there's like a little question mark icon on there. How'd you do that?
So you tap and hold on the message, and it brings up heart, thumb up, thumb down, ha ha ha, exclamation point, question. One of the things that you're supposed to do, and I'm not 100% exactly sure how, is you're supposed to be able to sticker like your response. I just put Mario sticker in there. You're supposed to be able to, I think, sticker.
Oh yeah, you hold on your message, like you hold it like you're getting rid of an app instead of press, and it pops up a little bit of an interface on top of that.
Yeah, but one of the things that I thought you were supposed to be able to do, like I said, was attach a custom sticker to each one. On the Mario stickers, they show Mario like on top of the message and all kinds of different ones. That's where I was a little confused.
Where'd you get the Mario stickers? I gotta get these Mario stickers. So, from Mario Run. Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's a Mario.
Of course there is.
Because that's the new interesting thing. If you go in and hit the little App Store looking icon and then hit the 4 dots in the lower left hand corner, it will show you all of the apps that now have automatic interaction with iMessage.
Right.
And a lot of them, what you'll notice is as the apps have been updating over the last day, a lot of apps are now shipping out of the box with iMessage content capability. So things like Yelp, Fandango, IMDb, Giphy, GIF Keyboards, Starwalk 2, Evernote, Mario Run has a sticker collection. So it's to me pretty darn cool. The way you can kind of provide reactions as well as tie into different apps. A little bit later in the show, if we have time, there's one app in particular that was definitely of interest to me, but I don't want to detract from the generalized iOS 10 talk.
No, and otherwise, so I did find myself saying, okay, other than iMessage and the notification screen, what else is there that really sticks out from this? I was pretty impressed with the new portion of the clock where where you usually do your alarms and everything, but there's a bedtime, and you can actually say, hey, I want 8 hours. Hey, I want to go to bed at 11:30 every night. Let me know, and it will notify me, hey, you should probably go to bed now. And there's like this interesting soft waking that it does in the morning too. Now I set it for a couple mornings, and I have a weird schedule. Like tonight, I'm up pretty late because of these shows, so I let myself have the extra hour or two in the morning, and it's still waking me up at 7:30. I just haven't set all the days right yet.
When I have to do that too, for me, and I haven't played around with the sleep portion, but I do like my Monday, Wednesday, Friday is different from my Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes Wednesday has to be kind of lumped in with the Tuesday, Thursday time, and then it's like you either set your you either set your Tuesday, Thursday alarm clock to include Wednesday or whatever, and it's like, oh, I forgot to turn that back, or oh, I forgot to reset it. So yeah, I run into the same kind of problem.
I mean, a lot of times, people have a fairly set schedule. The most normal people have a set schedule. I get up at 7 a.m. every day, go to my thing, go to work. I have to go to bed by X at the night, so it's enough for everything. Yeah, even right now I have it set for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Seems to make sense for the most part, except that has all been changing. Yeah, it's been, and also how smart. And geez, I can't believe it took them this long. It's a white on black interface now for your clocks, because when you're setting your alarm at right before bed, you have the lights out, and like, oh, I got to set the alarm for tomorrow. And you have a flashing white background for the alarm popping up. I think that was super smart with that as well.
Well, one of the things that I think is going to cause a lot of people grief, and I don't know how you use your phone. So when you typically pick up your phone, do you hit the power button to unlock to turn the screen on, or do you hit the home button to turn the screen on? So you home button.
Yeah, home button.
So now you got to click. So when you raise up your phone now and you click, a lot of times it just does the fingerprint scan and you have to click again.
Oh, no. I've adjusted to the fingernail method.
Okay.
I like that is the side of the finger kind of situation. But also now when you pick it up, it automatically pops up. So that's helpful too. It gives you one less thing to do. Like I'm still find myself pressing it as I pick it up and realizing I didn't have to do that sort of situation. But no, I think it's and that's a nice little touch, right? And I know nothing new if you're an Android person, I'm sure, depending on what you have. But yeah.
So there is just for those of you who find that kind of, and I can't find the setting now. There is a way in the accessibility settings to set it where the first click will unlock with the fingerprint sensor. The other thing that I found was there's a way, and I'm drawing a blank on where it's actually at in the settings under accessibility. You can now set a setting that allows you to triple click your home button, and it will automatically fire up the camera and zoom it in. So if you have a hard time, I hear a lot of people saying, I'm having a hard time reading something like a menu in a restaurant because the print's too small. So, or the ingredients on the side of a can or something like that. So you can actually set an accessibility option that will allow you to triple click the home button, it automatically launches the camera and zooms it in. I thought it was a pretty neat feature for people that may have.
And that's under accessibility.
Yeah. So I thought, like I said, I thought that was a pretty cool feature they added in. A lot of these accessibility features that I think a lot of people use, there's a lot more in there. So I would definitely, if you're interested in kind of switching the way a interface kind of works,
that is cool. I turned it on. Wow. Yeah, it's a whole different camera interface too, where it's you have a kind of a zoomer at the bottom, and then there's still like some lock and flash buttons, but at the bottom it looks different than the normal camera.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
So I thought it was definitely a neat feature.
I am having trouble getting used to having to swipe left to get to my camera. Like, remember?
Instead of swipe up,
because it used to be swipe up from the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we still have? I have not noticed. Do we still have? I guess we do. We do have in the other corner the kind of app recommendation.
Yes.
Going on. Okay, I do see that now. I just hadn't noticed it with everything else new that's been happening with this thing. But no, it's been pretty fantastic. So 3D Touch, because I realized, I'm like, man, I haven't really been using 3D Touch in the first year of using my Success, right? Now it's like, okay, it's here, right? Like, you got a little taste of it. Now you have a fully functional, got to have thing. Now here's my question with this. So that's what the 3D Touch is for us. What about everybody with the iPhone 6 and later? Because I've
heard it's a long press.
It's just a long press, just like you're doing anything else. Actually, let me.
No, you can't. I mean, like 3D Touch on apps, like on the front panel, like where if you want a sub menu, that's not going to work. But for most of the 3D Touch stuff, usually it's a long press. Now I wonder if we'll see an accelerated cycle out of the older devices to try to.
I think they just don't have. I think they just don't have the extra functionality. It's a reason to upgrade. Oh, I can just press this way and this happens.
But as an app developer, do you not do that?
Well,
you don't want to limit what people can and can't do.
So there's no
app.
3D Touch on the SE, right?
Correct.
So that's a detriment there. iPad doesn't have 3D Touch yet, I don't believe.
No.
Hopefully the next version, I suppose. You have, I think it becomes a additional feature because the apps, I haven't seen anything where it really pops out on the app itself. It's and I think this is a thing that's going to take another year before it becomes a functional, ingrained way you use things in the apps. This is still Apple educating us on, hey, look, you can do this. This is a new, the mouse is a new thing, and this is how you use it, kind of thing. Everybody got baby stepped into that, right? This is a new thing. Oh, did you know you can press in and do this? And, if you never remember it, just like that first year, if I never remember it, I could push in on messages and just send a text to my wife directly from there. I didn't get less out of the phone functionality, right? I just didn't get additional out of it. It's like I keep putting things on my widget screen because I'm like, I'll be able to want to make a card out of Trello out of nowhere, or hit the button so I can just get ways to go home. I have never remembered to do that because it hasn't worked into my brain yet, right? I don't think that's the place I go to get to that, on here. But it is the place where I go to check in on Swarm, to check the weather and Weather Underground, to check when the train's coming on the transit app. Like, that is a thing that it's this is the way I do this. Okay, here we go. Because there is a little bit of, personal training, I think, on a lot of those kinds of things. So, I think it's another, maybe by the 7S, because you'll have how many cycles of phones out there?
Yeah.
That it becomes more of a thing. And then it's going to be the very explicit, this is a high-end phone app, and by the way, look at all these things we can do. So
I do like a lot of times, like even like the Instagram, you could immediately go to the picture section versus going into your timeline, and then but it definitely does save me time.
Right.
And that goes back to, widgets being on that. I am heavily using widgets. I am happy they're not, and I'm a little bit different on the Android side. So I do use a fair amount of widgets on my Android tablet and a few on the phone. They're typically on a page or pages all to themselves. I don't have them intermixed with all my other icons. And I kind of like, and that's how this kind of works for me too. And it's not coming from widgets on iOS. That's why I did it that way on Android. I had widgets on Android long before iOS had anything like that. But having them all in a consolidated location to me seems like it's much easier to get there and get to what I'm finding. I definitely have them prioritized top to bottom on what I use the most. And then I actually have kind of like what I use the most. And then I actually put the next amount of stuff at the very bottom because I find myself like quickly flicking because it'll scroll all the way to the bottom real quick. So then I have the, okay, sometimes I use these kind of in the middle. So widgets, I'm very happy with them. They're very responsive. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see kind of that responsiveness on the watch yet. I've yet to update my Apple Watch. It's at home charging, so the moment I arrive, I can kick off that install. Thanks, AJ, for the 3-hour warning. But yeah, I'll get home and do that tonight.
So I wanted to point out because I was just doing a little quick Instagram story because I like to throw some in during the show. But our friend Mike Wojciech, who I think he's been on an early episode of the show, whenever Ginny gets, or Jane Pitt girl, however you want to refer to her, whenever she gets new software and there's just a screen of all the notifications of all the digital touch messages on his notification screen, and in the middle of it is a I have no idea what I'm doing. So you can tell if you're getting. I mean, and this is one of those things where, like, are you in that case? Are you starting to like Are you starting to get messages as your let's just call them the normal friends?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I think because my normals are like weekend updaters. They're not.
Tell me about your normals, Chilla.
My normals are weekend updaters. They're not day of updaters. And I'll be honest with you, because what burned them was, I think, iOS 7. There was a lot of framework changes, I think, in iOS 7.
That's when, yeah,
Right,
that's when like there's a
8.
bit.
Maybe it was 8. The UI rewrite and a bunch of other stuff was, I think, in
7 was the visual change.
Okay.
Right.
So back
and then 8 was when we got like extensions.
So back in the visual change and the framework changes, a number of utilities that are used around my house and by other normals I know.
I know how reductive that sounds, like, but I'm kind of liking where we're going. But
it broke. It actually, we always warn about the betas. Launch day actually broke a fair number of utility apps that took the smaller and some even larger developers many weeks to fix. So I think because of that, I think a lot of the people that I know have said, I'm going to give it 3 or 4 days and see if the day before or the day of there's an app update. And if there's not an app update, then I'm going to go check the reviews in the App Store, because some people are starting to become more and more dependent on the apps. It used to be, if it breaks the phone, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Well, now with Skype and everything else, I can still make a phone call even if the phone dialer wouldn't work. Now it's, did it thrash my battery, and are there applications that I use? Like, if I could, and I'm gonna sound like a complete jerk. If I could no longer start my car from my phone, I might lose my mind. It has become so routine, and like, if I can't remote start my car from my phone to get the inside of the car to a decent temperature, like, my head explodes. Like, I get in the car angry. I get angry with myself if I sometimes forget to start the car, like 5 minutes before I'm going to arrive, because I can do it from my phone. You're on these 95 degree, 8,000% humidity days. I just want to get in the car to be cool. I don't want to get in the car, turn on the air conditioning, and then be blown with more hot air. So like things like that, I'm even skeptical now. I actually use a different device. I hit 4 or 5 apps to make sure that they work in the beta, and then I load beta on my device. And I think because of those types of things, I think that's why people are. I think you're still going to see quick adoption. You're going to see that hockey stick ramp up of people, especially with things like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are people that are going to be like, well, let me make sure applications 1, 2, and 3 work because I use them on a daily basis.
All right. On that point, I just put that quote out on Twitter, by the way. If I can't remote start my car with my phone, my head might explode. All right. I just want to give a shout out. We'll have a couple stories before after we do something very special here. But in the meantime, check out our friends, Slice on Broadway, feeding us, helping us deal with life's problems like not being able to start our car remotely with our phones. Friends at sliceonbroadway.com, supporting the show for a good while. Good friends. Hey, they joined our other friends of the show, Bite Me Bakery, up at Taste of Beachview this past week. So I hope some of you in the Beachview area got up to check that out. They're down here in Beachview right along the tracks, which is going to have a train very soon.
Next week, I think.
Next week, they're hanging the lines back up. Right now, I'm making traffic again a little difficult, but still.
Sorry, not next week. The week after.
Is it?
I heard it's 25th, 26th.
Damn, I thought it was next week.
Sorry,
I thought it was like late next week.
Wow.
But anyways, go check them out. They're there as well as Carnegie, PA, down on Main Street or down at PNC Park. I know our good friend Matt Mike from I almost said the Bronx. He's not from the Bronx anymore. From Poughkeepsie, New York, was in town checking that out with our friend Matt in the Main Street Media, Matt Carlins. Check them out. Good friends. Awesome people, great pizza, sliceonbroadway.com, supporting Pittsburgh podcast with the perfect pepperoni pizza for a good long time now. PJ_slice on the Twitter or Slice on Broadway on Facebook and the Instagrams. All right, Sheila, what is going on out there?
So we were talking about it briefly before the show. Note 7, obviously.
Yes. Are you okay? Are you okay?
So my device is affected.
Oh no.
So I am impacted. I gotta work to get a swap.
They recalled everything across
but
the
it's
board.
It's not. So they did recall everything, but it is not a consumer recall. So it's
right.
Not.
They unofficially recalled
Yeah.
every phone. Okay.
Yes.
And if you cannot bring that onto a plane on.
Yes.
They're very across the board saying no, you're not doing that. So yours was a model that was sourced from Korea. Whatever.
So if you turn the device over, you may need the triple click from an iPhone to be able to read it, but it will say like assembled or made in.
Nice bringing the tip around there. Also, how first world that you got an iPhone to check the Samsung device. Jeez.
On the bottom line underneath like the different logos for that it passed FCC and whatnot.
Yeah.
The bottom right hand corner, it's going to say made in or assembled in. Assembled in China. They use Chinese batteries. Not a problem. I've heard Singapore is okay. Korea is not. And mine says made in Korea. So I do have an affected device. I'm working with Samsung to get that swapped out.
Mm-hmm. You and of course you don't obtain through normal means.
Right. I don't even obtain even the iPhone. I just bought outright. I'm not on next plans or payment plans or contracts. Or I do like the freedom. I have no fear in switching carriers if I had to weekly to obtain a best price. So that enables me to move on the fly. It also enables me to take advantage of some other deals with a lot of the carriers that may go unnoticed. If they're trying to obviously sell you something and they want to make money, they're probably not going to tell you. Always be upfront 110% about, we can actually put you on this other plan that's $10 cheaper. Not only are you not paying $20 a month for your device extra until you pay it off, we can get you on this other plan because it's a different plan. It's not part of a next plan structure. It's not part of this plan structure.
That's one of those things. Like it's nice to be able to do that, but understand you're going to have to have $1,000 in your pocket in order to do that with an iPhone. You know what I mean? I'm on a next plan myself, and then like that little itch comes in the back of my head is like, wow, I might be far enough in my next plan. I might be able to get the new iPhone and switch this out. No. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I have to talk myself out of it, because I don't want to remain tethered to AT&T in that way. And I don't know. So I have another year to figure it out, which, I'm cool. I'm definitely not fawning over the 7. But anyways, so back to the Samsung.
So definitely working to get that swapped out. Obviously, hardware is not necessarily easy to come by that's been fixed and remediated. Contact your carrier if you have an affected device. Be careful when charging it. Most recommendations are shut the device off. The heat up, exploding, burning, whatever, typically appears when charging. So keep an eye on it when you're charging. The lower powered wireless chargers, I used one, definitely do not heat up the device nearly as much. There are chemicals, and I'm just giving out a fair warning for people. There are chemicals in that battery that not only will you be burned by heat, but you'll be burned by chemical. Don't take your singed phone and then, because it's cooled down, put it in your pocket, take it to the store. Put it in something else. Don't, because it's going to bleed through your clothes and then you can get a chemical burn.
Well, it's not battery acid, right? It's a different kind of chemical, but still a severe, we are carrying, and it's a pretty interesting, kind of thought that's and you've been doing this for how long? You're carrying not maybe those ones are, a small bomb, like the capacity of a small bomb in your pocket. Right. So how, and Samsung realizes they can't get, there was a theory of there was going to be a kill switch and Samsung was going to deactivate all of the Note 7s out there. That's not true. Right. What I did hear is they are going to issue a software patch. They feel that if they keep the device at 60% or below charge, that you will not have the catch fire. And they can do that in
explosion.
software.
They can do it through software. The thing is now your Note 7. Here's the patch. Note 7 now with 40% less battery life.
Yeah, which yeah.
So I mean, it take the device back, swap it out. I think even I've heard, I think it was Leo Laporte said, T-Mobile, one of the options is hold onto your device, keep using it until we can get you a replacement.
He's changed that, by the way.
Oh, has he?
He has changed that thought since.
And he has a Chinese battery.
He does. I think it does.
He's T-Mobile, and they were exclusively Chinese.
Right. So to the point where I think he's getting an iPhone for whatever trip he's going on or something. So I know we all get so like we're in on his travel plans because he talks about them on every podcast, right? But no, I think that sucks for Samsung at that point. But it was a nice phone. It was definitely a nice phone.
It's
regardless,
beautiful phone.
Yeah, and either way they're taking a hit on this, be it financially for the replacements or in the press and everything like that. Thankfully, I think generally that hurts trust a little bit, right? So, but hey, I guess in comparison, iPhone had antenna gate and all that kind of stuff. So, they can always come around.
You got a free bumper.
You got a free bumper, man. Got a free bumper. My S series didn't come with a free bumper, but all right. I want to touch on. Tell you what, let's stop there because I feel like we're going to go long on this other thing. Okay, we're going to stop there, guys.
Retro USB.
You want to do the retro USB?
No.
We can do it real quick.
We can do it next week.
Yeah, we can.
There's always room. I mean, that's one that lasts a lifetime.
All right, gents, we have to do something off air here. So tease. You're going to have to wait until
6 a.m.
6. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that there's a thing. I didn't sign anything, but anyways, it's in process. But trust me, I'll be sharing widely tomorrow what the thing is. So we're going to go off air, so we can have a conversation. You guys download the show and whatnot. I know I'll schedule the videos for 6 a.m. Probably 6:30. Probably 7 a.m. to be safe.
Is that Eastern Standard Time?
It was Eastern
or is it
Standard
GMT?
But anyways,
Because we're close to 6 a.m.
I really
in different
shouldn't
time zones.
talk anymore about this online. So thank you, everybody, joining us. We'll be back at 10 p.m. for the Wrestling Mayhem show. And catch the rest of the show tomorrow. Oh, I bet you're really interested now.